Hello my friends, my family, my dear colleagues. Let's explain another thing today that plagues a huge portion of humanity. Blood circulation, but in particular the arterial obstructions that lead to installing stents or to make bypasses just to be able to supply heart with the blood. Now we are all being scared from cholesterol. In a school they teach us, no, cholesterol, there is a good and bad cholesterol, and the bad cholesterol is what sediments on blood arteries and causes obstructions to flow of the blood, which then suffocates blood or portions of blood or of heart, creating strokes and difficulties. Well, we have to debunk this because it's pure baloney. Yes, obstruction occurs, but not because we have cholesterol in the blood, and there is no such a thing as a good or bad cholesterol. Yes, we have different proteins forming cholesterol because cholesterol is actually building block for our cellular structure and many hormones as well. So depending what is cholesterol going to be used for, body structures it in that purpose, because cholesterol is nothing more than fat and protein, and so is cellular membrane, which means so is our connective tissue, collagen, and so it's everything else in our body that has a structure. It's all made out of cholesterol, including now some hormones like vitamin D, for example. It's a hormone. And it requires slightly different protein than the one for constructing the body. So you have two different types, roughly scheduled. And why are we being scared by this low density cholesterol? Because we say, oh, it's low density, it can burrow itself into the membrane of artery, and then it starts building up and nonsense, pure nonsense. Why is it nonsense? Well, because again, another skipped truth that we are not told in medical school is that everything has electric charge and has its electromagnetic field, and the field of the inner side of blood vessels, arteries or veins radiates with positive magnetic charge, and everything that flows in the blood, including cholesterol, are positively charged. So they cannot even touch each other. When we have high voltage, it's again voltage, stable frequency. So first, for the contact to be possible, we have to drop the voltage. And we know that more toxic we are. Now we know, if you check my work and if you check my videos, or even better, articles or my book, then you know that more toxic we are, cells cannot hold the voltage. So we become depowered. We depend on the voltage of our heart. So still, if we are very happy and carefree and doing things that we like to do, even if we are in a sad situation with our cellular dehydration and cellular acidity, energy is provided and we do not feel physical problems, and we are not going to have any any obstructions of arteries. So when this obstruction happens? Well, when we are being told that we are sick, or when we are told, or when we have a lot of problems, then biggest problem is fear, And this is why they keep us in fear all the time, to drop our voltage, because then brain becomes very much engaged and sucks all the energy that is supposed to transport through the organs of our body. And when we have specifically arteries or any blood vessel, when it gets dry on cellular level, the cells shrink, which means the whole arteries, everything shrinks and loses elasticity. And now, because the cells are very acidic, they cannot hold charge, so now this magnetic field inside of the blood vessels is almost non-existent, which means also the magnetic field around every particle almost non-existent. This is when heart contracts, and if you are watching through a system that can see inside of the body, we cannot say X-ray because it's, but through sound you can monitor, you can see what is happening. You are going to notice that now blood becomes group of cells. Every time heart contracts, it pushes cells, then bang one into another, they bang into the walls of the arteries, and they are like groups going pshup, 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 through your arteries. Children don't have this problem. The blood flows. There is no accumulation of cells. You don't see it. They are dispersed. Why? Because they are cleaner. The cells maintain voltage. They maintain relatively strong magnetic field. And since all is positive, they repel each other. So you have much smoother blood circulation, requires much less pressure, because you touch one cell within the bloodstream and it pushed, and it doesn't even have to touch the other. The magnetic field, it's like one is pushing the other. So you just make a little push and everything is being transferred without actually touching anything. You have perfect conductivity. But lesser voltage you have, lesser magnetic field, and now you have these clumps banging into each other. This is why doctors prescribe you so-called blood thinners. Oh, we're going to thin this. Well, they're not thinning jack nothing. They're just giving you anticoagulant because there is a big possibility from all this banging you are going to have damaged cells, which will trigger the self-maintenance kind of process, which may involve coagulation. So you may have coagulums forming, and then they come into your brain and close small artery, and you may get stroke. So to prevent strokes, or same with the small blood vessels in the heart, you may have parts of a heart that basically die because, like in fractions, because the small capillaries, the arteries, are blocked by these small coagulums created from all this banging inside of the blood. Now, there is a much worse thing that happens. Once when arteries lose the flexibility, they also become brittle because they're dry. And when heart pumps, now it needs more pressure to pump, to push these particles that really don't move easily through the blood vessels. The conductivity has dropped just because there is no magnetic field to repel them. So now there is more problem pushing the blood through, and the artery cannot expand. So now the blood pressure, the big impact, stays right around the heart. Okay, so as now everything has to push, everything is slightly jammed, so the pressure drastically increases, and closer to the heart, the higher pressure it is. And this is why we don't see any obstructions in blood vessels in a body, but they are usually right around the heart. Why? Because from this strong pressure that the heart is creating, and inability for the blood to flow, it creates back pressure because it just doesn't smooth it. Conductivity is not there. So what happened is that tremendous pressure is created around the heart, and now the arteries that normally would now expand a little bit because they are flexible, now they are not flexible. So what happens? They start cracking. And every time small crack happens, you start bleeding. And when crack happens, you have tissue and crack opens this way. Since arteries are polarized, so positive inside, negative on the outside, as soon as crack opens, there is negative charge there. It's very weak. This is why people who suffer from chronic loss of energy, when they hit themselves, they get blue, and the blue stays and gets bigger, and even if they are not taking anticoagulants, there are areas that get affected because they are bleeding longer than people with cleaner blood, cleaner body, higher voltage. They will show bigger marks on the skin because more blood escaped before it had a chance to coagulate. Now, similar thing will happen here, but since the crack is not huge, those are small cracks. So what happens is that the particles, they get drawn to the negative field because they still have positive magnetic charge, but very weak. So the weak negative will still allow weak positive to kind of stick to it. And since cholesterol by itself is a fat, it's sticky, will easier stick to these places, but then other cells will stick there too. And we know that when tamponade of artery is happening, when obstruction is there, if you dissect it, there is cholesterol, but there are also all blood elements trapped in there. So basically, you would not have accumulation of this cholesterol if there wouldn't be a crack. But if crack occurs and this accumulation of cholesterol doesn't happen, you may start bleeding internally. And you may bleed more and more, and you may have problems in your body. So this is self-repairing mechanism. And because the pressure is always highest right there where the pump is, well, this is why always here we have problems with obstruction of blood flow. And yes, cholesterol is there, but not because cholesterol is sticky and because it's the bad cholesterol, the low density cholesterol, that is sticking itself because it's fine and it's sticking underneath the membrane and starts building up. That's a nonsense that only brainwashed person that has no clue how body works can make up. And unfortunately, this is in our medical books. So brainwashed people are teaching us something that they absolutely have no clue about. So cholesterol is not the problem. Problem is dry cells. Again, we go to basic hydration. And since basic hydration on a cellular level cannot occur unless blood is clean of toxins, we have a problem, because all the food we are given is toxic. If nothing else, it has a toxic salt in it. The salt that we call table salt, which is basically sodium chloride, and on purpose, because it's white powder, so it flows better, it's given, and also to make us sick, it's given oxide of aluminum, which is white powder, and who knows what, and the iodine, of course, another nonsense, and we call it the healthy salt. Well, we are discovering that all this is not true. We are living in a world of lies, and experts that read the most, they are the most brainwashed, and they just cannot disengage from this scientific baloney. So more you are into the science, following the scientific studies and what books are telling you, the more brainwashed you become and further away from truth you are. And there is no way you can find the truth there, no matter what you do. This is why doctors have no progress. Actually, they go backwards, because more and more lies are being put together and explained through faulty biochemistry, which is easy construct to mislead you. And this way we basically continue doing the same thing and hoping for different results. Nobody is even thinking they can heal the blood circulation. You have varicose veins, here is a sock, and now, yeah, we can give a surgery, or we can give you chemical poisons that will clean this little bit up. Well, you stop with those, bingo, you get worse problem than before. Why? Because of dehydrated cells. It all goes there. And if you continue eating the way the food is being promoted through these experts of nutrition, then you are doomed, because it's all based on toxic vegetation, medicinal herbs, which are the main cause why the cells do not want to accept anything that is in the blood, and they don't hydrate. So if you are on any kind of a supplement, one of the, again, worst companies, just because it bothers me so much, I mean, all the supplement pushers are pushing the wrong science and not knowing they are poisoning you. But then some are worse than others because they claim that their product is better and it does what actually it does not do. And then you have a doctor promoting it. That's why I call the biofake out all the time. Now they're promoting turmeric. Oh, our turmeric is the only good turmeric because it's properly dosed in amounts and quality that body requires to rejuvenate. Nobody rejuvenates with poison. And turmeric is medicinal herb. It's toxic. It's poisonous to our cells. Yeah. That's why the body reacts to it in a certain way and it decreases inflammation. But inflammation is not our problem. Inflammation is the autopilot of healing. So you suppress it, you are working against it. But worse than that, it prevents hydration on a cellular level. So it actually makes you looking older because it dries you up, causes creases. But the biofake tells you, no, no, it makes you younger because I'm telling you, so I'm doctor. Stop listening to doctors, please. Stop. They have no clue what they are talking about. We don't need doctors, we need truth. So, cholesterol is not a problem. Body makes it. You cannot absorb it. because you cannot absorb foreign protein. So cholesterol breaks down in the digestion, in amino acids and fatty acids. And this is what you absorb. And then your intestine is going to produce the cholesterol that your cells require. And when no cholesterol is needed, the rest of fatty acids are going to be converted into triglyceride, pushed in the bloodstream, and used as an energy source or be stored in a adipose tissue as fat for later use. So even when you are eating cholesterol, they said eggs, oh, a lot of cholesterol. It's basically fat. And then you have supplement biofake who tells you, no, use our ketone product because ketone is keeping you in ketogenic state. Lies. Lies. They just give you medium chain fatty acids from coconut oil. But you have them in the fat. The fat of animal that you are eating is not cholesterol, it's triglyceride. Okay, it's fake science. So it gets me going, because when I see videos, channels that promote truth, and then to make a buck, they are promoting companies that they trust, and they are fake companies with lying messages like biofake or biotrust, what they call themselves. It gets me going. The way how you can repair, you don't need stents. Stent is, again, doctors don't have clue how to heal and what to do with it, so they improvise. So they put tubes into your blood vessels in those dangerous areas where the collapse of arteries may happen, and to keep them opened. So again, a surgery, putting stuff into you that you don't need, that actually creates later problem, because you can heal, but the thing is staying there. Instead of all this stuff, instead of bypasses, you just repair the circulation. Start hydrating, but hydrate correctly. So if you use the self-healers protocol is created as a guide of proper hydration and changing the genetic expression to where it should be for the body to work correctly. So just follow the protocol. And you can heal just by eating correctly and hydrating correctly, without anybody else having influence on you. And this is proven stuff. More than 15 years I'm helping people with this. Very few know about it because I'm being suppressed. And the only reason why they allowed me to be around, because my following was, I don't know, 5 people. As soon as interest grew up, they kicked me out of Facebook. Oh, not of Facebook, tolerates me still, but YouTube. I cannot publish video there anymore. Facebook will follow if I get more recognition. And those are my outlets to try to promote my science. There is no other way I can do it. And it was not time, because it would be quite dangerous. But now time has come, we are free, and now it's time to get all this new knowledge, empower ourselves, and heal. Just eat eggs, no problem, just don't cook them, because you coagulate protein and it becomes unusable. Learn how to eat correctly. All what we are being said through, nutritionists, they read the same script. They give you the same wrong knowledge. Forget about this. There is no truth there. I like Mike Adams very much, but he is not aware that he is actually poisoning people with his supplements, because supplements don't do what he says they are doing, and his knowledge is based on the knowledge that we are being smothered with, which is all wrong knowledge. At least he's not pushing himself above the others, like Biofake does. Oh, don't buy their product, my product is better because of this and this. And it's all baloney. So, you want to heal your circulation, stop eating the forbidden food, starches, carbohydrates, which is all cooked and processed vegetables or fruits. You want to have vegetables as a salad? Okay, but still, many of them have toxic elements, which will provide problem of hydrating on a cellular level. Yeah, lettuce is okay, some basic salad stuff is okay, but as soon as you go into aromatic stuff, those are phenols. Most of them are poisons. And this is why perfume, you cannot use perfume, because perfume is toxic. Phenols are toxic. Now the science said, oh no, they're antioxidants. Baloney. They can say whatever you want. Cells will stop hydrating if they are present in the blood. Doesn't matter how much. Small amount, you will not hydrate. So you can have clean blood and eat correctly and everything like this, and drink a lot of plasma, but what happens? You have phenols in the food, you put spice that has a phenol, bingo. And this is where turmeric comes in. And then cinnamon, many other spices are toxic. Higher or lower level, but level doesn't matter. You have a presence and hydration is gone. One of the worst one is garlic. Extremely toxic. So, and extremely promoted as a superfood. We have to learn the truth. And as soon as you eliminate those, again, follow Self-Healer's protocol. Simplest way to do. I offer it for $22, but if you don't have money, just write me a mail. I'll give it to you for free. I do it all the time. I collect money just so I can survive. And as you can see, I'm not living a glamorous life. I have a motorcycle and tricycle instead of car, because I also help people around me. We have to get through this period. We have to help each other, and we have to learn the truth and free ourselves. That's a freedom, knowing the truth. It's more important than all the gold of this planet, knowing the truth. So, follow the protocol. Simple, simple. And there are people who have it. Let them give you the protocol. And those people who did the protocol and who felt the benefits, especially those whom I was guiding through the process, so they learn much more, because I explain every symptom they develop during the protocol, during the healing and cleansing process. I explain, so they have much more knowledge. So those people are empowered now. They don't need anybody else. They don't need me anymore. They can just go and help everybody around them. Doesn't matter what disease you have. But especially you want to get your circulation going, you want to cleanse your blood, you want to get your articulation back to normal. You are hunched because you are dry and your discs are cartilage discs in your vertebra are used and out of proportion. They will rehydrate and you will gain back your height as you had when you were young. if you do it correctly. So try to think about it a little bit. It's not as soon as doctor, you go and see doctor, if he says that your bad cholesterol is high, just dump the doctor. He has no clue about cholesterol or anything else. There is no such a thing as a good and bad cholesterol. Body does not produce what it doesn't need. Even cancer cell, when it stimulates, it needs it at the moment because of your toxicity. So here we are, rediscovering ourselves and rediscovering the truth. Thank you for being here with me. Love you all.